Like and subscribe right now, or this spider will crawl on your face when you're sleeping. Animals will sometimes deal with drastic complexities, only to end up in the wrong hands. No, I'm not talking about failed predatory attempts, but desperate flirting efforts that sometimes finish their life. Hang on to see some of these strange mating procedures that will eventually lead to surprising endings. Elephants. When I say elephants, the first word that pops into your head would be something like gentle giants, right? But what if I tell you that the game has changed in the wild, and so does the behavior of animals? And on top of the list are your gentle giants. Well, I should probably call them bullies, because otherwise, how would you explain this? I mean, what was the crime of the poor calf except for being in the way of the mighty tusker? Luckily, this time there was no poor animal that was crushed by the elephant. Now, let me explain the reason behind this odd behavior. Actually, all this hostility is directly related to the elephant being in must. For those of you who don't know, must is actually a series of hormonal changes in adult elephants. The testosterone level rises to 6 times more than usual during this period. It's a healthy phenomenon in adult male elephants and only happens to bulls that are comparatively strong. Well, let's not just blame the hormones for everything, because sometimes there's only one reason behind this aggression, and that's the scarcity of females. In some simpler words, it's not just a war of dominance among the opposing elephants. Giraffes. Talking about dominance, how could we not count these long-necked animals? Although fighting is extremely rare among giraffes, they can sometimes behave completely opposite to their expected behavior. Like here, these two were recorded fighting really hard. And there's only one ultimate reason behind this intense battle. Of course, it's for a girl. Well, who wouldn't? It all begins when one of them whips its neck. And then there's no going back. All these efforts are only done to maintain their dignity in front of the female candidate, who is no less than a strategic player herself. The female giraffe will watch the entire combat and will reward the winning male with a... Okay, this is gonna be a lot more disgusting than I imagined. But the female will wee for the victorious giraffe. He will sniff and sometimes even taste it to see if the female is really available for mating or has already been occupied. If not, then it's quite the reward for the alpha giraffe. Hippo. I'm not even sure if it's a proper word, but disgustingly beautiful is how I'm gonna choose to define the hippo's mating ritual. It all begins when a male hippo is ready to mate. The horny mammoth will keep visiting the female's herd quite frequently. And here comes the most revolting part. As the hippo will not only be around the females, but it will actually sniff their back and urine to know who's available. Yep, it's exactly how it sounds. The hippo will literally sniff the urine to detect its mate. It's something that they're gifted with, if you want to call it a gift. Once they ensure that the female is ready, mating will start. Mating usually happens in water. The male will be out of the water, while the female will be partially submerged and will be taking short intervals during the entire process to breathe. Capuchin monkeys. The girls in capuchin monkeys don't really rely on traditional methods of flirting. Instead, they've invented a more potent way. They prefer to throw rocks at their desired partners. These attention-seeking methods are adopted to let the male know that they are ready to mate. And if it does not work, they've got a plan B and C, and, well, they can do it for their entire lives. The females will actually try to grab the alpha male's attention by grabbing a larger stone, or will simply try to begin a pursuit among them. Garter snake. Flirting only seems to work if you arrive on time. A slight delay, and the game's over for you. But not for this snake. It's never too late for a garter snake. After the hibernation process is over, the male will emerge from the depths with a single purpose on their minds, and that is to mate, of course. Snakes are cold-blooded animals, and mating during the winters is extremely hard. So if by any chance there's a female close by, needless to say, she will be the celebrity among these triggered slitherers. They'll literally swarm her. So what would a latecomer do in such a situation? Well, he'll trick the others with the scent of a female. Emitting the scent, he will lure adversaries away. And when the time's right, he will court the female. Porcupines. Just like their complex bodies, porcupines have a complex mating process. Actually, the female porcupines are only available for a fraction of time. Yeah, it's only 8 to 12 hours for them. As for the rest of the time, their bottom will be covered with thick membrane, restricting them to copulate with males. When they're ready, these fertile females will leave a slimy track for the males, indicating to him that the time has come. Concerned about the spikes? Well, don't worry, they've got a solution for that too. The female will curve her tail around the quills and will flatten them so they won't be a hurdle for the male. Talk about making it easier. Mantis. Cruel? No, because it might not be enough to describe what these insects do to satisfy their sensual needs. A female will simply release her pheromones to attract a male, and once he's been trapped, she'll carry on with the process. And then, once she's been pleased, the satisfied queen will decapitate her partner. She'll literally rip his head off and eat it. In some cases, the ruthlessness reaches its peak, and the female mantis takes the head in the beginning, because she too knows that removing the head will not affect the copulation process. Jumping spider. Peacocking. This is what dance for life actually means. This little whirling spider is known as a peacock spider, whose life depends on the quality of his dance. And to evaluate his moves, there's a female critic standing at a distance. If he's successful in impressing her, he's allowed to mate. Otherwise, well, his brutal end awaits him, because the rejected candidates will become a delicious meal for the female spider. Bowerbirds. Welcome to lesson 101 of how to impress a mate in the wild. This time, it's a bowerbird with incredible strategies. These determined birds will first build a house known as a bower. The bower plays a significant role during the whole process, and you'll soon know why. The male decorates the bower according to his desire and will pick the objects he admires the most. This can include charcoal and deer dung. He will place the objects in a way so that his tiny body will appear larger to the females. And if he's successful, the female will enter the bower, and if not, well, he'll carry on with the struggle. Bisons fighting. There's a theory in the animal kingdom known as mating rights, and these animals are quite concerned about it, especially bison. Due to their decreasing numbers in the wild, the battle of finding a mate is getting intense, and so do their rivalries. But these bulls know how to maintain their dominance, and for this purpose, they fight for a female as their reward. Although these battles usually end with one of them winning the mate as a reward, they sometimes can turn deadly for the combatants. But if one manages to win, well, it's all worth the struggle in the end. Mating ritual of mongooses. Mongoose are another depiction of what fighting for dominance looks like in the wild. It's literally a fight among the males impatient to mate. It all begins when the female lays out loud squeaks to attract a male. When more than one arrives, an inevitable test begins. A test for dominance. The two will keep striking each other, and in the meantime, they'll continue to impress the girl. It looks a bit difficult, but one of them will win at last. Yup, the battle and the heart of the desired woman. The subscriber's pick. And now, let us move on to our subscriber pick of the day. This image was sent to us by one of our subscribers. Similarly, if you ever wish to know more about an image you come across, just send it on over to us. Who knows, we might even feature it in one of our videos. This rare baby elephant was captured in Kruger National Park. Standing among the rest of the herd, the elephant had a striking injury which made it appear different from the rest. That injury being the half-cut trunk. Was it really an injury or a birth deformity? Because it's a little hard to tell. But wildlife enthusiasts believe that it could be a predatory attack that caused this, as elephants are often seen trapped in the jaws of alligators who hide in watering holes. Although the sight was a bit distressing, the people were relieved to see that, despite the injuries, the calf was doing okay. Surprisingly, it was even better when they spotted it a few months after the first sighting. See you next time.